Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, good morning, all you people out there. Good morning. Happy Sunday morning. Today, yes, my little doggy woggy. Today is Sunday, May 23, 2021. And the time is now 7:07 in the morning. Yes, I have my gang here. My little girl Lily, the Havanese, my little boy Lavender, the Pekingese, and my little girl in the back there, little Lilac. Lilac, the little Shih Tzu. I call her my little peanut. Yeah, yeah. I woke up early this morning. Looks like it's going to be another hot day, another scorcher. Yeah, the I guess summer is here. Yep. Yeah, this May, the weather has been very fickle. It's been switching back and forth. You can wake up one morning and it was chilly and cold. You have to have on windbreaker. Yeah, really chilly and cold. And now uh, you could go out with your t-shirt. No jacket even. Yeah, it was hot yesterday. Very hot. So I guess uh, we better prepare for the new season. Yep, the new season is here. Um, Environmentally, yeah. Summer begins. What's that? June 20, June 20th or something like that. So yeah, we gotta start preparing. The the time of getting your heaters. Making staying warm, dressing in layers, and now it's peeling off those layers and staying hydrated, staying cool, and staying safe. Yeah. Yeah, this all is going to blend into what I'm going to talk about. There's a change in season. This season is here. The new season is approaching. And we have to adjust to those changes. I'm going to talk about different things that are affecting my life. And I trust it's probably, similar things are happening in your life. Change. And I did a video, was that a day before yesterday, about change? Life is about change. The only constant in life is change. And politics. Yeah, my title, Politics and Friendship, and Truman Reality. Truman Reality, I'm referring to the movie, The Truman Show, and how things could happen in your life. And in The Truman Show, see, Truman was in the dark about what was really going on in his life, but he had an initial clue when something from the sky falls down. See, Truman, even though we might walk in the dark about certain matters, but we also have instinct, intuition, and something's up. So in this video, I'm going to talk about different things, different experiences, and how all those things that I just mentioned, how politics and Truman Reality and just life in general, they all just kind of blend in. Yeah, I was going to do a video last night. I was a little, um, went to bed a little emotional yesterday. Politics. I never would, really talk about politics. And isn't it something that things that really didn't matter, now it seems to matter all of a sudden? how things, move my thing here, how things could interfere. And you just take it as just a general, something general. Um, Never really talked about politics and really didn't care about politics. But politics is every day. Politics is life. And possibly the Truman Show reality. Yeah, I we're just talking to someone that I care about, and they had called me just to check up on me because I shared with you um, I had vertigo. I get vertigo, and like I mentioned about the season is changing. Well, with this change in season, it's this change in temperature too. And temperature, it seems to be the common denominator. That temperature can affect my health. My body frame is someone, I'm tall and slim. And generally, people who are tall and slim, very slim, their bodies cool off uh, more readily, and they're able to tolerate heat a little better. You know, um, I never had problem with heat. The summers, but change. Okay, change. You get older, and with change, it's inevitable. And the key of change is to be able to adapt to those situations. And sometimes the body didn't catch, that adjustment. When you get like, what do you call it? What women get, um, the change of life, um, menopause. That's the word, menopause. With menopause, you're dealing with hormones. You get a decrease in estrogen, and when that key factor happens, it can that change can affect the way you think, the way you feel, uh, tolerance levels. You may get what they call hot flashes. You become sensitive to the heat. Now you might worship the cool weather. Let's say before that time, you avoided cold weather. And now the cooler seasons you may actually embrace. Isn't that a change, right? So you better adjust to change. So you have now a change in season. Now you have summer approaching. What's that? Summer begins around June 20th. It's still May 2021, and it's getting warm. It was warm yesterday and warm the day before, but yesterday it was very hazy at one point. Very, very cloudy, and humidity was something. One thing in New York City, where I live, that the humidity, because it's like an oven, and the air doesn't seem to be able to escape. And so even though it may not be terribly hot, let's say it's only 70 degrees, well 75, it feels like 100, because that um, humidity is like trapped, and you really it sucks the energy out of you. So I had gone out yesterday with my little dogs, and it was yeah, it was hot. And luckily I have my little doggy, my booyah doggy stroller, because honey, hot weather, and with dogs who are getting up there. My dogs are about 11 and a half years of age. So, this change in life for all of us. And I have to remind myself that even though outwardly they can look the same, they look like the darling little puppy that you brought home, you know, they look like they look like 1 or 2 years old. People call them puppies. They look like puppies to many people, but they're full grown. And so even though they might look like a little puppy on the outside, and inside, these are mature dogs. And you have to adjust. And even for myself, I may look one age on the outside, but in the inside, my body is saying, girlfriend, you're not 21 years old anymore. And this weather can really zap you. You got to be careful. And you better drink your water. So even though you're tall and slim, your body's not able to regulate as well as it used to. So you better hydrate. You better remind yourself that before you go to sleep at night, you better have your thing of water or juice or whatever to hydrate yourself. Yeah, yeah. This is my vitamin elixir that I prepared this morning around 5 o'clock this morning. I have to finish up the rest. I drank most of it. Yeah, because now what could happen? Because now all of a sudden the weather, the season is changing more visibly. You feel the temperature heating up. And so now at nighttime, let me get a sip of water. Okay. Yeah, because now I'm just lifting up my device. Yeah. Also, my voice is not as strong, so I have to put my mouth near the mic so you guys can hear me. So now what happens? Well, what's been happening the past 2 days? Yeah, I had a vertigo, uh, dizzy spell. Vertigo is a condition where it involves in my case, the inner ear. That they theorize that these crystals shift. It's in a fluid in your ear, and there's a shifting or something, a concentration that develops, and when this equilibrium goes off, it can cause dizziness. So, let's say a quick movement. Let's say you move your head to the side or something. Well, honey, you could fall right over. Yep. Something as simple as little crystals in your ear, the concentration. And if you're sleeping and let's say your hydration level drops while you're sleeping, because again, now with the weather changing, it got hot during the night. So what happens? Well, my windows were closed and still are closed, as you see. I do have a fan I have a fan on. I have an air filter and my air conditioner. And I think both were on. Yeah, definitely. I had them on. And yeah, because my dogs are sensitive. They like air. Yeah, my little doggies like air. And two of them are flat-faced dogs, and so they need to be able to breathe. Flat-faced dogs have more breathing challenges than dogs that have a long snout. So I have the air filter and the air conditioner on to promote that air circulation. So I went to sleep. I was going to go, going to go to sleep a couple of days ago. But yeah, I noticed my mouth got all of a sudden dry. And again, I drink my water. Um, but I have to like time when I drink the water. You don't want to drink and have food in your stomach. because it'll be hard on the digestion. So you're going to have, if you have a lot of food in your stomach and you drink a lot of liquids, it's not a good match. So what I try to do, at least the first thing in the morning, I get my water, and then in between meals. So ideally, at a minimum, I want to drink at least 2 liters of water. That's equivalent to 16, about 16 cups of water. Yeah, each cup, 8 ounces. So that, what was that? 30. That's 64 ounces of water minimum that I need to drink. And I wasn't even like exercise or anything like that. This was just a standard day, just chilling out in my place. So just imagine you're outside walking or exercising, you're going to require much more. So so with change, you have to be aware of your body. You have to be aware of what change can do to you. What can change do? So awareness is very important in this process called change. And so if you're not aware, things are going to happen and you're going to wonder what's going on. So I went to sleep, and when I got up, vertigo happened. And I almost fell to the ground. Yep. And I have cameras in my house. And you see me drop, I grabbed onto the bedpost, man. Oh, man, I would have fallen hard on that floor. Boom. So I did go to the doctors. I think I explained that to you guys. Yeah, they said that one of my aortas is a little block, something. The size is a little bigger. They're not. They believe that it's a plaque buildup. Hey, good morning there, cheeseburger. Yes, good morning, good morning. Yes, I'm talking about some various things, various topics. I think they're very important topics, and what I'm discussing right this moment is about change, to be aware that in change is always going to happen, but it's your responsibility to try to be aware of when change happens, and that you have to adjust. And in my case, what I was discussing a moment ago is that the change in season in New York City is getting warmer. And for whatever reason, hot weather now affects me in a negative way. And I was a person that loved the heat. I'm tall and slim, and tall, slim bodies are able to handle heat better. But now that I'm not a spring chicken anymore, I'm not 21 years old anymore. Yeah, okay, if you're saying, oh, the warm weather. Yeah, warm weather in the east now. Yeah, it's warm weather in the east. Yes, I'm in the northeast. Uh, thanks for. Okay, I'm reading your message, cheeseburger. What you're saying? A property for sale for 90,000. Looking for good people. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that information, cheeseburger. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about that too. About moving, relocating things. It's a very various topics. They're all blend in when I'm going to talk about. It's going to seem like different unrelated, but they're all related. So yeah, I had to drink my water. Um, yeah, I had gotten the vertigo, and I almost fainted a few times. Collapsed. Um, So you have to be aware. And I did, yeah, I did go to the hospital, and the doctors, they said there was some abnormality with one of the carotid arteries, the one on the right side to the back. And then when I asked them, and a friend of mine told me to ask what percent blockage. Get this, See, I go to the VA hospital, for, veterans. And guess what? They said 5%. He goes, maybe 5%. Oh, really? Oh, really? You're going to throw that to somebody? 5%? See, this is very typical of the VA hospital. They get students, they get residents, and they don't know their head from their elbow. But they want to they want to tell you, they don't want to say that they don't know. See, I respect medicine, health practitioners who are not afraid to say the word, I don't know. Or I should say the phrase, I don't know. You don't know. You could only speculate that maybe this can be a tribute to some. You really think 5% can alter? Well, um, they had to say something. So then they wanted to give me this what do you call it? A statin drug that has a whole series of side effects if you take it. Statin drugs for 5% blockage. I told them, um, before I left the hospital, that I did not want to take the statin drug. Yes, good morning, new visitor. Good morning, good morning. You're invited also to say hello in the chat room this beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. So, yeah, so I told them I'm not, I will use a nutritional approach to decreasing my cholesterol levels. And so I won't need those statin drugs. And they also said that when you see your primary care physician a week from now, um, they'll discuss more detail about the statin drugs, and they'll give you extra statin things there, something like that. They said. So I said, I won't take the, I said, I want to be honest with you. I will not take the statin drugs for now, and I'll handle it using nutritional approach, and I'll make an appointment with the nutrition. Wow, sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. The power went off. Yeah, even though I have it plugged in, I have the power plugged in. I hope you get back, guys. I'm back on. Wait for you guys to come back on. Yeah, I have my other device next to me in case this one the power runs out again. Yeah, I guess because it's requiring a lot of energy. Yeah, yes, I'm back on. My Even though my device is plugged in, I should have let it charge a little more. When you do a live stream, it utilizes a lot of energy. So it was on, it was just on like 3%, and then it went down to zero. So I apologize for that. And if it happens again, I have my other device um, right next to me, and so I could continue the live stream on that. So I apologize. But yes, what I was saying now, um, yeah, I hope you guys can hear me too. Make sure the volume is on. Oops. Yeah, make sure the volume is on. Yeah, what I was just saying about with change. And so a couple of days ago, I almost had an accident in my house. Almost fell on the ground. And water. You have to take water. See, uh, change is inevitable, but the challenge with change is to be aware of what certain changes can do to you, and you have to adjust accordingly with change. So now, when that incident happened on the 20th of this month, I have to now, and I've done this before, but now I have to do it again. I had stopped doing, I got to get my thing of water to drink and have it next to me in the bed. Yeah, so what I can do, um, definitely have the a fan going on. My air conditioner here that you see, they have to adjust it. So it just blows out air, it doesn't chill the air. Um, Maybe even a humidifier because the mouth felt dry, honey. So either way, I have to make my adjustments. So that's the main thing, to introduce what this topic is about with what the title of this video, politics and friends and Truman reality. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, I thought it was going out again. Yeah. So let me go on. So I had called up a friend of mine and let them know what had happened to me, and just small talk. And that resulted in, wow, a kind of heated discussion. Uh, they were asking me how I was feeling and everything. I said, yeah, everything's improving, you know. So I was mentioning about some current events that I saw on YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I saw these two stories, and both of them were focused on two young girls. They were teenagers. One is a recent event. A young girl from um, West Africa, Northwest Africa. What's it, Mauritania, something like that. I think that's the name of it. Um, yeah, it's a Northwest Africa. And when I read the description of the video after I watched the video, um, the young girl was one of 59 people who left on a boat, a flimsy boat, wooden boat, to leave their country. They did not say in this story what country they were heading out to, but they left unprepared. That is definitive. 59 people crammed on a small boat, wooden boat. They only they ran out of food after day two, and no water. They had no food nor water. So what you gather is nothing is free in the world, and no one's going to have a boat and just have a whole bunch of people in there for free to leave to another country. And who knows what country? They did not say, and that would have been interesting. They during the interview they didn't ask her where she was from, what country, what the circumstances of her wanting to leave. Um, did she leave with anybody? Or what did she bring? Nothing. They didn't say that. Um, but after 2 days, they were praying and praying for uh, water, and one by one, people were dying. Also, the girl's only 16 years old. 16 or 17. Yeah, 17. Yeah, she was 17 years old. And she was a big 17-year-old. Very, she had a lot of girth to her. And maybe that saved her life. So if you have more body fat, and you would without food. They were lost in sea for excuse me, for 22 days. 22 days. This teenager and other people were just floundering in sea, and they only had 2 days supply of food, and they were dying. They said at one point they were too weak to even throw the bodies over the edge. So this girl for 22 days are with corpses. Horrific. Well, they were rescued. You had a helicopter from the articles, the descriptions that they were from Spain, the Canary Islands. That Canary Islands is run by Spain. It's a part of their country. It's off the coast of Africa, the Canary Islands, and the helicopter um, rescued them. All out of the 59 people, only 3 people survived. And what was beautiful about the story, I mean, it's tragic, but the the end was that one of the rescuers, a man, a married man, and I think they had a daughter. They said you can stay with us, and they gave her clothes. They're taking it. I guess they had a translator. The girl speaks French, and the people in the Canary Islands they speak Spanish. And I guess they had a translator. It was very beautiful. They hugged each other, the family with the girl, and so for her, the ending was positive. Um, and then the other story I saw, another teen. She was 16 at the time. This was 3 years ago. And she has what they call this disease that causes you to age in your body, and it causes other effects. Some like it's the two types of diseases. Not the This type of disease has something to do. The skin gets looser and looser. It loses its elasticity. But she did still have body fat. So there's a disease, an aging disease, where you lose all your body fat, but she still had that, the body fat. So but it's something. It's just as bad. It's a very, very rare disease, and she got it from her mother. Her mother has a type of it. I mean, something like that as well, and another sibling. And so this story, what was the point? Okay, she went to the U.S. with her mom and another sibling, because she had geneticists here in the United States who were gonna really try to be definitive what her condition is. So she had to go through a whole bunch of tests because they wanted to make sure it wasn't diabetes and other things that could be contributing to her ailment. And they found there's some other type of aging disease or some type. Um, and then she gets plastic surgery. They redid her teeth. They gave her new teeth. So here she's a 16-year-old. If you're an adult, you may remember, ladies, when you were 16 years old, your looks is important. And she looked like someone in her, like the video is called "I Am 16 Years Old, but I Look Like I'm 60," where she wasn't over exaggerating. And to me, she actually looked older than 60. Okay. And her mother is only in her early 40s, and she looks like she's in her 80s. Could you imagine people? And so when I shared that to my friend yesterday, that I said to myself, how blessed I really am. I could have been in one of those situations with like those other girls, a refugee, or I should say, someone who's like leaving a country, and you died in the process of leaving for what you hope to be a better place, or having an aging disease. You're only a teenager, and your whole life is, you think you go on the bus with, let's say, a school bus pass. They're probably going to throw you off the bus. Hey, you're some old lady and you're trying to pass as a child. So she avoids taking the bus. So she doesn't have any conflict, and she's harassed by her classmates. Could you believe that? So she did have plastic surgery to make her look like a kid again. And but one thing, um, even though she had that done, it just tightened the skin, but the process of that condition is still going on rapidly. So it didn't last long, and then they re-interviewed her 3 years later. So now she's 19. So initially she was getting friends. She had got a boyfriend within those 3 years, got pregnant, had a miscarriage, boyfriend left her. So now she's smoking, and I think she lost her teeth again. But yeah, so when my friend called me to hear how I was feeling because I had the vertigo, I was sharing with her, the how blessed I really am. And sometimes when you go through change, you may feel like you're in a pity party. And but if you realize globally, things are going on all over the world. And I said, wow, I could have been in those girls' position. And then I also mentioned that I had seen a video. Yeah, we both live in the city. I saw another video about the violence in New York City. Yes, I live in New York City. And I was concerned because this new event happened again a couple of blocks from where I live. And it's right near where these other people recently got attacked. You have the Asian bashing, and you have people in the subway, like, New York City has its subway system. And the latest attack I heard, um, a person a lady gets attacked. This happened late at night, but in New York City in the subway, 10 o'clock at night, you have tons and tons of people. Yes, I used to have to go home late at night, but it's tons of people. It's not like one or two people. It's masses amount of people. And in broad daylight, a man with a knife, and caught on camera, this surveillance camera, him attacking the lady. And a good Samaritan rescued her. And then the other people nearby held him down, and the police did arrest him. A 22-year-old man. A 22-year-old man. And that's where this politics and the part of this video is going to begin. So when I told her about that, and she heard about it also. She watches television. She has all the news also, and I get my news on YouTube, from YouTube. And so that's where the politics began in our conversation, and it got very, very heated. I'm unfortunate. For me, for me, talking about um, events, whatever, I don't take it personal. I don't take it personal if someone thinks, we have different approaches or understandings or beliefs about what should be done in society. To me, it's just a topic. It's just another discussion of just, free floating ideas. And it got heated. And how do you handle this? How do you handle um, with changes? And um, so you want to be able to, you want to have the freedom to express yourself. Politics. Are we going to let politics ruin a friendship or family relations? It's just politics. One thing in politics is always, again, like life, always changing. And you have to adjust with that change. So the latest attack, that I found out, actually two attacks. One of the lady being tackled to the ground in broad daylight in the subway, man stabbing her. Even when they were pulling, you think the guy would stop after when he got tackled by the Good Samaritan? He continued trying to reach for the lady and stab her, and yeah, he was stabbing her. She's okay. She was interviewed. She got out. They brought her to the hospital later on, and she's out now, recuperating. And they did interview the Good Samaritan, and more power to him, and more power to the other people who came to the rescue, who held the criminals' feet down, and the police. You see the video of the police arresting, getting the guy. Yeah, he's in custody. Yeah, New York City has a whole. I did discuss that. Um, about 4,000 people, at least what the cop told me last month in April 2021, that they had 4,000 people that were put in the homeless shelters. True, and I did a video about this, that not all, just because someone is placed in a homeless shelter does not mean that they're criminals. It does not mean that they're crazy. It doesn't mean anything but that they don't have their own place. But the dynamics, what's happening in New York City, is that a whole slew of physical violence. Even last year with the election, and what do you call it? The what do you call it? The riots that were going on. The people who were being, primarily the people who were being beaten up were the other protesters. Yeah, the pros and the cons, after each other. They were beating up each other. Okay. But like random people, I mean, yes, randomness did happen also, but primarily were the two factions that were against each other. They were doing the fighting against each other. But now this year in 2021, you have individuals who are targeting innocent, unprovoked, unprovoking other other people. Just random acts of violence that's happening now in New York City. And now with what we call change, again, change and being able to adjust with change, the weather's getting warmer. And it's not uncommon in New York City that when you have the increase in temperature, when the summer months are approaching, uh, no electricity, uh, people get cranky and tempers start to fly. I mean, it's not even summer yet. It's still May. And the violence, the physical violence, is really getting something. Yeah, so you had that event that happened in the subway, and then something else happened too. Right near where it all happened with the Asian beating, a man attacks another man, bit him in the face, in the eye, they said. They bit him in the eye, and then bit his finger off, the tip of his finger off. Could you believe this? And say, you get out of here, or go back to your own country, something like that. This is really out of hand. So when I get angry, I was angry for the victim. and what you can do. And I also found out that election in New York City is what they, I think you call it the general. I'm not good with politics and stuff, what things are called, but I think it's what you call the general election. You know that like they're gonna, I guess, vote. They're gonna have a voting thing in June, and then I mean something in June, and then in November something else. So I noticed also yesterday that you had these politicians and people handing out flyers, vote for so and so. And I'm thinking, wow, we just had an election with last year, right? There's another election coming? Yeah, there's another election thing. Sorry about that, people. Yeah, the buffering. Yeah, the power. Yeah, the power. I guess hot weather slows down the charging of your devices. So yeah, let me try to hurry. So yeah, so this environment, this political environment, had me and this friend of mine get in a heated discussion, and I shared with her, yeah, because I said, when I found out that there's going to be another election thing, I said I'm not going to vote. I said I had enough of the voting. I said after last year, I said I don't I'm just gonna have my beauty sleep instead. I'm not gonna get my butt up. I mean, said it in a semi-jokingly way, but no, I'm not ready to vote. Go out there, and so my friend reminds me, hey, people sacrifice their lives so that I have the right to vote, and I used to believe that. Yeah, you better vote. But for me, um, it's about an illusion. The illusion of voting, that you have rights and that your vote counts. And I learned the hard way that my vote does not count. But they want you to make you think that when you press that button or turn that lever, that it's going to make a difference. And we better go out there and vote because my ancestors, the ancestors, you know, didn't have that opportunity to vote. Does your vote count? And do the people in office, do they really represent you? I don't think the people who are in office represent me. They represent corporations. They represent the system. They represent deception. To me, that's what they represent. They're not about serving the people. They're not even about the continuity of the Constitution of America. So I said, why waste my time? And so we started arguing. Well, I shouldn't say arguing. We just were sharing. For me, exchanging just different opinions. And when I added, I um, I said something that was very, I guess, um, triggering for this other person, and I was half joking but serious as well. What to do with regard to these homeless people, and what I mean again, I'm really focusing on the violent people, the violent people who live in these homeless places, who are attacking innocent people. And I said, hey, maybe they could, you know, create something, a place for them, like I said, like a village, like a community that, okay, because I said a bird and a feather flock together. And people of like minds are going to congregate and want to be with other people of like minds. And if you have a population like this, rather than putting them in a population with people who aren't like them in their mentality. Have them live away from people, like innocent people, people who aren't attacking and killing. And that I say, hey, maybe have something, a village for them to live in, because no one wants homeless people living next to her. That's what was said. She says, well, no one wants homeless people in the neighborhood. And yes, that is very, very true. No one wants them in there, and I don't blame them. But they need a place to live, and trying to analyze the situation. What could be done? And my approach, half sarcastic, I said about the village for them to live in, um, that has apartments, that have that they can get food, the medicines, all that, and they don't have to go outside of their community, this village, and they can stay and live next to each other, have all their needs met right in that village. And the person I was talking to said that's racist and that's segregating. Uh oh. Uh oh. Okay, it's still on. Okay, the power. Yeah, the power had gone off a bit. I apologize for that. Yeah, the yeah, the connection. My tablet. I had it plugged in, and it was plugged in when the power went off on it. The amount of amount of energy required to do a live stream is higher than the amount of energy that's in the device. So I apologize. So yeah, so the argument really began because of this, about maybe the how to handle the homeless crisis in New York City. Yeah, you have 4,000 people, at least that they at least letting the public know. The police told me 4,000 people were put in these shelters. But you have all this violence going on, and the latest violence, a person getting their finger bit off, they bit the eye, and then they bit off a part of the finger, right near where I live. Again, this violence, extreme violence. And I never saw this type of extreme, never heard about this type of extreme violence in New York City, but it's happening. And again, now it's another election coming up. I just found that out yesterday from my friend. Yeah, the physical violence that's happening in New York City, on the subway, on the street. And so I was just, like grabbing straws, what could be done? Maybe set up a village for them to live. So they don't even have to leave their community. Everything's set up so they can do their laundry if they have laundry to do, their um, food right, right there, um, the medications right there, have everything set up so they don't even want to have to leave and go in the general population and go and beg for money and attack people. That was deemed racist of me to say that. Here, I'm somebody that used to buy food for the homeless people on the street. Sometimes this individual I gave money to. All these things to try to reach out and help the blacks, the poor blacks, the beggars in my community. Did volunteer work in the black community in the hospital. Having because who I supported in the last election. I'm a bad person now. But no, but again, we both agreed, me and my friend, that who knows what to do regarding the homeless crisis. But the conversation got so heated, she had to hang up. So it's time for me to get off the phone, but we blah blah blah, and then we peaceably um, ended the conversation. But for me, so politics and friendship now is an issue. See, this is about change also. Change. In the past, having different viewpoints about things didn't do this before. What do you think out there, those of you listening to this conversation? Did in the past having different um, attitudes about a particular politician or who you're going to vote for, especially if you're a black person in America. Did it make a difference? Did we ever really talk about politics in the black community? The average, everyday black person. Did we really even care? Yeah, yeah, we went and voted because we're told, you got to vote, people from the past, our ancestors, whatever, fought. So I have the right to vote. One thing with our ancestors, it's a dispensation. It's a different dispensation now about voting. Back in the day, black people supported other black people. If you were a black person, early in the day, you represented your black community. Not like today, that now you're a black politician, you might be representing some organization or a new lifestyle. To be tactful, see certain things I can't say because it might offend people, but those of you who have basic understanding know where I'm getting at. So we didn't represent that those exotic lifestyles 100 some odd years ago. You're a black person running for politics or you represented your community. But now, if these ancestors could see what's going on, they would say, "What? When do you think that?" Say, "Wait a minute, that wasn't what it was all about." That you go in the ballot room, you place your ballot, your vote was counted. Your vote was counted. We didn't have computers back 100 years ago, and then the computers get hacked by a foreign country, and then they could manipulate the votes. They didn't have printers, photocopies that you could make mass production of ballots, empty ballots, and then uh, made in another country, and then flown in and distributed in centers. And these many of these centers were democratic zones. And then they disperse it, and then they use the excuse that, oh, black people have the right to vote. Our vote has to be counted. And using the history of what happened in the past with black people and attributing, using that as an excuse for now, that if you try to make rules that actually is to protect the black community so that your vote is counted, they're making excuse and lying that, oh, well, if you do this, you have to be a racist. You have to be a racist. And then they distribute the ballots, the extra ballots, so that now you can vote 5 times. Hello? See how life now is distorting? Now, with today's reality, is about the illusion, the making it look like that they care, that your vote is counted. Well, these people who's really being supported here, in my opinion, this is just an opinion, are the criminals. The criminals' lives have more value. That's why they dumped 4,000 homeless slash crazy people in the middle of a community in New York City that have young people, children, tourists. Well, not as much tourists now because of the pandemic, and they're giving more rights. When I got assaulted last year, I got groped. The police officer, when that came, said, "Well, they're just going to release him. He's probably a crazy guy." No, he wasn't crazy. He was just a nasty old guy. Um, he's probably crazy, and so when we bring him over to the hospital, they're just going to release him because of the pandemic. They said, "It's your call, man, how you want to handle it, because they're just going to let him go." That's what they told me. So who has more rights? Me as a voter? I voted. I voted last year. I didn't vote for that crap to let a pervert out on the street has free access to molest, rape, or whatever. But because of COVID, let's let them go because they got rights and they shouldn't get COVID. You know something? If you have the audacity to sexually violate a person, well, then you have the a karma. You should be treated accordingly. You felt man enough to do that? Well, we're going to throw you, see how man you are, man enough that you are to see if you could tolerate the COVID. Keep their ass, excuse me, my language, keep them in that hospital. And if they get COVID, that is their problem because they did it to themselves. When you violated a woman or a man or a child, you don't have any rights after that. And so, if you die of COVID, that is on you. Just like if someone gets stabbed and killed by one of these crazy people, you have to pay the crime. You have to do the time. You do the crime, you do the time. But now these guys, these criminals, have more rights than you. And so here I did share how I felt about these people. I was part of me was half, half joking, but serious about, hey, maybe put these violent people in a separate community so they don't hurt anybody. But that is being deemed racist. Who wants any of these criminals in their neighborhood? So it made me feel sad that he's someone who I've known for many, many years. And for us to have to, they had to hang up because it was too much. See, sometimes our emotions get in the way. I understood the person's point of view because you don't want segregation. See, that other person was concerned about if you put, if you set up a place like what I suggested, it's segregating people, and you should keep people with the general population, and that they have a right of life and everything. Yeah, they have rights, but we also have to protect the general population. And they're sensitive about the era, you know the Civil Rights Act, the 1950s and 60s and 70s. But it's not the 50s, 60s, and 70s. It's now. It is now. Now is a different dispensation. It's not, we didn't have all those computers. This is now. This is a new dispensation. Excuse me. This is a new dispensation on reality. You can't base things on old science, so to speak. You can't determine what you do based on something that happened 50 years ago. politics. This is a new political game. This is a new political game that now the game, how the game is played, now uses technology, now is using social media. Social media is destroying families. Here, just a conversation, we have access to information quickly. And what you call a live stream. When it's actually going on, we're watching it live. These things on social media, and so it's different politics. It's not the 1950s. It's now. You got social media, instant instant information right at your fingertips is at play, and people are wondering, okay, what to do. Thank you for giving me the thumbs up, people. Thank you. But yeah, so how do you handle these things? You're going to handle yesterday's problems and think it's the same thing and handle it the same way. People are exploiting history. People are saying, oh, well, because what happened in the 1950s, and say, oh, and Jim Crow and segregation, that's not the problem now. That is not the problem. Today's politics is operating using different methodologies of control. You can control any election. It doesn't matter what political party you are. It doesn't make it right for any political party to exploit history, to exploit technologies, to distort reality, to try to manipulate your reality to who you're going to vote for. Does it really matter who you vote for? Does it? Did it matter that I went out and voted? Did it matter that I talked about the different candidates or the information? Did it matter? It didn't matter because you have people in power who can manipulate what you see on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, etc., etc. Everything. Everything is manipulated. You can't say certain topics. You can even be that liberal. You could be that fancy liberal person, or you could be that ultra conservative. But if you say certain things on certain social media platforms, they can remove your channel. They could demonetize. So this is a new type of slavery and control. You think 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago they had that same problem of how they control? Yes, during slavery they had a gun and heavy chains to control people and force them to do and go where they didn't want to do or go. But now there is an electronic shackle, an electronic shackle, an electronic control, mind control. They could say, oh, um, you don't have access to live stream on this country. Let's say you live in country A and you want to send information to country B. Oh, we won't permit it. You're stuck where you are. We won't broadcast in that country. So you're stuck. So isn't that like a prison? Imprisonment? Thank you again for giving me the thumbs up. Yeah, isn't this like a new prison? But yet you don't have any physical chains on you. So you're going to handle what happened 400 years ago or what happened during the Civil Rights Act. You're going to use the same approach. Oh, segregation. Oh, sorry about that, people. Sorry about that. Yeah, we just dropped some people. Yeah, the connection. See that when we talk about certain things, they don't want you to. Some people, yeah, the connection. See that when we talk about certain things, they don't want you to hear about it. So yeah, so you're gonna handle. Sorry about that, people. Yeah, the connection is gets bad, and when you talk about certain topics, they don't want you to hear about it. So again, um, they want you to believe that you can handle the same politics the same way or life the same way. No. Now slavery is sophisticated that you're stuck and chained by, because now we're dependent on our cell phones, our what you call smartphones, our we call notepads, our desktops, computers. Now we're enslaved to technology. And now to do commerce. Oh, we're going to prevent you from using PayPal or other payment apps because we don't believe in we don't want your belief systems to be supported. So we're not going to allow people who watch your video to monetize you because we don't want to promote your thinking. Isn't that uh isn't that a bondage? When someone could control how you do commerce, people who you've never physically met could then tell you you cannot do commerce. You cannot buy or sell on our platform. Oh, uh, you can't have money go in your bank account. We control the banking system too. So I was angry, and that, hey, take these people, these criminals, and have them separate from the general population, from children. But the person is thinking of 60 years ago with segregation. See that we get blinded. And you notice that they're making a lot of movies, black movies with black people about slavery, about oppression and all that. Don't you think it's for a reason? They want you stuck in the past. They want you to think like you're a victim. They want you to think like you're living in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and that the enemy is a particular enemy of a particular color. Well, people in New York City, yes, in New York City, who do you see attacking who in those videos? I'm not going to say you're an adult. You turn on YouTube or your social media of choice, and you're going to watch and see who the criminals are and who are they attacking. I'll tell you a lot of them who they're attacking. It's men attacking women and men attacking the elderly. They are attacking the most vulnerable population here in New York City or in any state. Women are, are usually vulnerable to attacks from men. The elderly, not only are they elderly, but these are the tiny elderly people who, in general, who they're attacking are people from countries where they're very tiny. They're like 5 feet tall. They're tiny people. They're elderly and they're tiny. There's always been elderly in New York City, but they're targeting a specific type of elderly. It shows you how cowardice these people are. These cowards. These are cowards who feel so sorry, they feel so disempowered and using the COVID as an excuse. It is, I mean, it's trying for everybody. This has affected everybody, okay? And it's socially, in my opinion, socially constructed, socially engineered, I should say, that to for a cold flu to, I mean, the same amount of people that died from 3 years ago, 4 years ago, it's the same amount of people dying now. It's not a pandemic. It's the same number of people. See, they're creating a false reality, a distorted reality. Yes, use precautions. Yes, nothing wrong with using precautions. But to lock down and to close commerce for a cold, flu, all these things, it's for a reason. And they're acting out because now they're panicked. This is being socially engineered. It's a new form of control, but using what do you call it? Digital what do you call it? The computer world, cyber world, cyber control to control the way you think, what you can do, and now you can't do commerce. So some people have to do, like some people they don't physically go to work. They say, okay, I have a computer at home. I can do my job at my home now. Since now most people have computers in their home. So now we're not meeting one another anymore. We're social beings. We need to physically be with people and talk to people. Now it's a cyber world. You talk to people through a computer, like what I'm doing now. This is a computer. I'm on my cell phone. I mean my notepad, doing this live stream. And here doing a live, having a discussion with my friend on the phone about the uh, increased physical violence that's being done in New York City, and to suggest, hey, have a village and have them there, live in the village and have all their needs taken care of there so they don't have to come out, and that being deemed as racist. Giving the criminal more rights and to feel more sorry for them than the innocent person who's minding their business, paying their bills, trying to feed their families. What's going on? So, how is that with the Truman reality? Remember, in the caption of this live stream, I say politics and friends and Truman reality. Yeah, I'm alluding to the Truman Show with Jim Carrey, who he learned. Jim Carrey was in a movie some years back called The Truman Show, and in The Truman Show, the character learns that he was part of he was being observed. Life was a movie, and he was the star of the movie, not knowing. Is that what's going on in this world? A Truman world, that orchestration, that you have someone orchestrating the things that you are experiencing or seeing, but it's all being crafted by someone who's looking down below and testing your behavior. You ever feel that sometimes you're being observed in a way, like you do something and then something else thwarted? Well, let's look at myself. All this violence is happening in New York City, and I start thinking, hey, maybe I should move. Maybe I should move away from here. I mean, I have my little dogs. This is one of them here, sleeping with me. And my other little one over there, right? Yeah, we used to go out. But now you have all these crazy people. People who try to grab my dog. People who sorry, the connection there. People who can do things. You want to feel safe when you're going out there. So I started um, seeing it, finding out, hey, um, maybe I should move, maybe try to get a mortgage and live in the countryside or something like that. And then boom, look what happened. My vertigo. Well, what if, see, the fear is, hey, um, what if you move away and you get a vertigo and you fall on the ground and you can't get up, medical emergency, you have to get to the hospital, but they don't have transportation. See, can't that be a fear? A way of manipulating somebody? You never had a condition like this, but all of a sudden, boom, you get an attack. Or let's say, like last year, early 2020, feeling good about myself, and I wanted to do certain things. I was thinking about going, not think about it, I was pursuing weightlifting and maybe going to competition. You know, people in my age group. We call it bikini competition. And I was really excited about that. And I had bought a guitar. See this guitar here? Yeah, I also bought a guitar early last year in 2020. So I wanted to explore music, get my body in shape and learn the music. And then also I was thinking about learning a foreign language because I saw the movie Limitless. Any of you ever saw the movie Limitless? Any of you there who are watching right now? Say one for yes if you've seen the movie Limitless. If you haven't, go see it. It is fantastic. That movie motivated me so much. I said, wow, I got to do this. Yeah, I bought the film. I bought it. Yeah, I love it. I've watched it several times now. Maybe 6 times I've watched it or even more. I enjoy it. It just made me feel hopeful that you can do it too. You can become limitless. And so I was feeling really good early last year. And then in January, I mean, you started hearing things on January, late January, about this thing, this virus thing in China. And then seeing all these poor Chinese people being um, traumatized by this thing. And then it hits the United States, and then now the history happened, right? You all know what happened all last year. Yeah, we all saw what happened last year, and so I felt like, wow, I was so hopeful last year to learn how to play the guitar because I had gotten private lessons. Yes, I did. I used my money to get private lessons for playing the guitar. Um, I was going to get, I think, yeah, I had gotten lessons for, the weightlifting, bodybuilding. So I had gotten what do you call it? A, a, a coach. I got a coach, pretty much a private coach. And I was on fire for 2 weeks, girl. Yeah. I was doing for 2 weeks, and then boom, New York City said, we got to close down everything. Close down all the shops, restaurants, everything. Boy, so it seems like when I just start, then it stops, right? So it starts to feel weird in my life that when I start to do something and get the motivation and say, hey, I want to do this, this seems like fun. And then boom, out of nowhere, it almost makes you feel like a type of Truman show that when you, like in Truman, he said, hey, I want to be a traveler. I want, oh no, I'm sorry, an explorer. And the teacher says, oh, that's okay. Everything was explored. So then she pulls down a map on the blackboard to show how the whole world is explored already. You don't want to be a navigator, just crushing him. Or certain fears. Let's say, yeah, a fear of traveling. I used to have a car. I used to live out of state, and I love adventure. I love meeting people, and I had to get a car for where I live. You know, they didn't have mass transit, so yeah, I was forced to get a vehicle, a motor vehicle. I got in a Ford truck. Well, actually, I leased a Ford truck. I used to live in Hawaii, and they don't really have mass transit in Hawaii. And I needed to get a job, a second job, and I needed a vehicle to get there. A week, let's see, oh no, 2 weeks again. About 2 weeks after getting the vehicle, I get let go. Yeah. And it's like, wow. Or, um, I had also, also getting let go. It was like I got hired for the holiday season, and then the first week of January, the holiday's over, and they want to cut back, and so they let me go. They should have told me that. Wow. But either way, I mean, they should have told me that they were just going to hire me for the season, and actually they were supposed to let go somebody else, but he was afraid of the girl's mother, and I didn't have anybody there, and so they let me go instead. So even though they weren't supposed to let me go, but the other person go. But again, it is what it is. So it's like things are being constructed. Your reality could be constructed. And then, I wanted to still have an adventure. I started like traveling on the island with my car. And then all of a sudden, I started getting panic attack on the road, or something happening, and I'm wondering whether that thing has to do with my inner ear, because I told you I have the vertigo, and the vertigo could be triggered by lack of hydration, or whatever. That something, maybe the movement of the car was messing with the inner ear, the fluid in the inner ear, causing a sense of feeling dizzy, and then you get a panic, whatever what it is. Then all of a sudden now it's an issue, and I couldn't go on this particular road. It would only seem to happen on this one particular road. It was a long, 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 narrow road right off the water, on the on the coast of the island. And so it seemed like it didn't want me to go beyond a certain point. Yeah, I like you have the major town in on that island, Lahaina, and then I was going to the residential area where most of the people live in a Wailuku or Kahului, and then boom, all of a sudden this happens. I've been in cars all my, family, being in cars with my family or going on the train and never had a problem, never. It seemed like once I started to want to venture out on my own, venture in my reality, my world, to see the beauty of it, all these things start to happen. Let's say you're walking and you're just having a nice little stroll, and then you get a dizzy spell. You go to the doctor and they can't find anything wrong. Nothing wrong. Yeah, I told you about the vertigo that happened, the big one that happened on 2018, right after the wedding. And it just hit me from nowhere. But it was harder that day. It was harder than usual that day for the season. That was in April of 2018, and it was a little warm outside. I did hydrate before I left to the party. Came home. No, nothing happened until I woke up that morning, that following morning, and I had to be rushed to the hospital. Vertigo. It was the vertigo and this weakness in the body. I thought I was having a stroke. Again, I'm a healthy person. I'm always very conscious about what I eat. Once in a while, I do like my ice cream. But isn't it just key that certain times of your life, that certain events happen, and that when you really want to become free, like Truman in the movie Truman Show, and that when he tried to force the issue, when he started to see resistance in his life, when he wanted to go, remember in the movie, he wanted to go to this foreign country. But see, in the Truman Show, Truman actually lives in a movie studio, a giant movie studio. And he's not allowed to go past certain things. And they even you discover with Truman that they arrange an event. This they used this dog that this dog was going to attack him. If I remember right, something happened, and so now he has a fear of well, he has a fear of water because they try to drown him, scare him from not wanting to leave the area, because they live by a bay, so they arranged this thing that he almost drowned, but it was all staged. But they were willing to do that to scare him enough so he doesn't want to leave and go on the ferry boat to go to the mainland. But all that's constructed. What if things that happen to you in your health, you think something as routine as, oh, maybe the vertigo, or something which is doesn't make sense, or let's say irrational fears. What if your life is really a Truman Show and they don't want you out of your community? Because remember, have you guys heard of? I know this sounds really fanciful. See, what do you call that about fantasy and reality? What is that expression about with in the movie world that that art imitates life? Yeah, that's the expression. Art imitates life. You think it's just by chance that they make these type of movies? Art imitates life. And art, the movie industry, may be sharing with you the possibility of what's actually going on. And remember, um, right after World War II, remember uh, different governments that wanted to get access to those scientists from Germany. Remember that? And it's unclassified material now. The information used to be classified, now it's declassified. What they call the Project Paperclip. Remember that Project Paperclip? When they brought in all the thousands of doctors, thousands of them, to run the space program. You think they're just doing the space program? Do you think maybe they're also doing the health programs, the hospitals? Remember a couple of years ago, also, I interviewed that guy who claimed to be a part of the secret space program and was kidnapped as a child and went through horrific things. Do any of you seen that video I did, that interview I did with Tony Rodriguez? That interview I did in early 2018. It was about a 4 hour interview I did with him. It was my first interview like that, and I'm not an interviewer, and it's not the most polished interview, but it's a thorough interview, and again, I'm learning. Um, but yes, those of you who haven't seen it, go watch it. So I'm not making up a genre. I'm not making up a story. That you have people who claim that they have been going through different events, life events, and that they are people who are being controlled, experimenting on. But isn't television like a control? The things you watch on television or on social media, isn't that manipulating the way you perceive your environment, whether good or bad? It doesn't matter, good or bad. They all come into play, and they all are designed to control your reality, control the way you think. You think you're just going out for a stroll. They have devices on these buildings. These are these what do you call it? These television dishes, those satellite things, and you're minding your own business, and then you get interference on your device, or sometimes something medical happens. Let's say you're minding your own business, and then something intervenes, something hits you in your head, something some type of electrical thing um, hits you in your head, and you feel dizzy, or you all of a sudden get anxiety, like an anxiety attack. You're just relaxing, enjoying life. Don't you think something like that could be happening to some people? I have been in the military, and you listen to these people who uh, claim that certain medical events happen to them. Some of them show evidence of being tampered with. Anything. What they're putting in our foods. What are they put? Why are they putting GMOs in the food? What is GMO? Genetically modified something. Why are they modifying the food? Well, if they modify your food, don't you think what you eat? Aren't you not? What aren't you what you eat? If you eat nanoparticles or a food that is modified, it's going to change your genetics. It is going to change your genetics. Why do they want to change your genetics? Well, they may want to change your genetics so they can change the way you think, change the way the things you do. It's another form of slavery. Again, slavery is not about having a heavy chain around your neck and someone with a whip in their hand. Slavery is sophisticated now. Slavery, they're using technology as your new prison to change the way you think, to make it so that you cannot even leave. They're using technology again, the satellite dish, the satellites. Why are they putting up so many satellites out there? Don't you think they might be using it against you? Why in New York City all of a sudden? Well, maybe they're using technology to alter the way these people think. Why they're all of a sudden doing these weird behaviors now in New York City? Start putting the dots together, people. Start putting the dots together. What is happening? Why do they want you to take certain types of medication? What do they put in that medication? Well, maybe that medication has something in it that these new, what do you call it, microwave devices that they're using, and they could aim it at populations. Turn it on and watch what happens. It is on the internet, this type of information. I know it sounds very, very bizarre, doesn't it? It sounds, if I heard someone saying what I'm saying, I said, boy, this person is crazy. Yes, it sounds crazy. But who's more crazy are the people who are actually doing this science upon an unsuspected population. Or let me get my little girl here. She wants to get down. She can't jump down. Let me get her. Come here. Come, let me get you. Yeah, come here. Come here. I'll put you on the ground. Come, let me get you. Come. Come on. I have to get her. Ah, let me just put on the ground. I'm sorry there. Yeah, she can't. She's a little Shih Tzu. She can't jump. Shih Tzus can't jump. But yeah, this is very serious, people. I see. I'm about. I know what I talk about could sound very bizarre to most of you, but if you've traveled, and if you've been in the military, and if you listen to certain information that's free to watch on social media, it opens up your awareness. There was an incident that happened to an individual, um, and I think it was, no, he wasn't in the military, but these weird things happened to him. And they were using a particular device on him, and it modified. They can make you. Oh, let me tell you. Yeah, I talked about this before. Um, they have this device. It's called the Voice of God technology, and I did discuss this. I think the scientist's name is John Hall. I think that's his name, John Hall. And I got one of his books. He was a scientist for the CIA, and he thought he was just being creative. This technology is, you can hold it in your hand, and it uses microwave, and you can aim it at an individual and talk into it, the device, and only that person that you're aiming at can hear what you're talking about. Yes, he developed it, and they're using. Some people are using it, and some people who have money, you can buy one. What if you have a neighbor you don't like, or let's say you're competing for a job for someone with someone, and you use it against your employee or employer? You have people who have that type of mentality to hurt people. Technology now is being used to hurt people, or I should say some people. Some technologies are being used to hurt people. Yeah, technology. What is technology? It's just a tool. But some people abuse the tools that they have access to. And they can use it on unsuspected populations, and they used it on this black guy. And they used it on some other guy, a black lawyer, a Christian fellow, real down to earth. And then he did his final video, and then he went to, I think he didn't want to actually shoot anybody, but he went out there with a weapon, and the police got him. And on camera, they showed the aftermath, and I felt badly for him, even though he pleaded with uh, health services, the police, everything. He did a cry for help on his YouTube channel, and he said he couldn't take it anymore. And basically, he did an apology video for what he was going to do, and he did it. He attempted to do it, and they shot him dead. So there are technologies that are used out there that you can read about and watch about on YouTube, called the Voice of God technology. And so they can make you hear voices that are not there, that are not your, and make you think you hear thoughts. They can make the voice sound like your voice. So you think you're going crazy. You think maybe the people out here in New York City, all those people roaming around. Remember, I did the video, I think it was last year. Yeah, I think I did it last year. This young guy, very handsome young man, and he was a college student, and I think that he did say that he did do a volunteer thing, in an experiment, and one day he's walking in Times Square, and he said he had a compulsion. He'd never done this before. All of a sudden, he gets a compulsion to take off his clothes and to dance around on this platform in front of everybody. Caught on camera. What would make a young guy do that? A young, healthy, handsome, yeah, he was a model. He was a model, yeah. And then he jumps off. He survived the fall. He survived. And then they did an interview with him um, shortly, a couple of days after. He did get hurt, a little hurt when he jumped off a two-story thing. Um, they said, oh, he had, what do you call, a manic or something. He was in a manic mode. And so it was mental illness, and he was in a manic state. He never had this before. What's going on? What's going on in time? They could be using these things on him. I think he said that he was in an experiment before, um, and these other people, and they're using it on you. So here, these people who are, and again, near the Times Square area, where all these crazy people are doing these bizarre behaviors. Do you think possibly that they're using, like, if you were a part of an experiment, or let's say they said, oh, we want to do a drug trial, we want to use an experimental drug. Oh, it's all for free. Oh, we'll pay you. Did you know that they pay people to try new prescriptions? Did you know that? What if they target a particular demographic to experiment and use these experimental drugs on? Or what if you're a drug addict and you have a habit that you need to support, and you go on these drug trials? They give you they give you some money, they give you a new drug to try out, and you're a drug addict. Hey, let me try what this does, right? And let's say these drugs have particular markers in them, markers that are in them, and they can it could be activated using these devices, like what I mentioned, the voice of God technology, and they can instruct the people to attack other people, all in the same vicinity. Just look at it, people. Why is this like this particular street? It seems to be happening a lot. It's happening in the Times Square area, like a quarter mile radius from Times Square in New York City. These weird behaviors that all of a sudden people are doing. What if these people are being triggered to do that? Also, what was mentioned was that this month, May, is what they call, oh, what do they call it now? Zombie Preparedness Month. Did you hear that right? I'm not just making this up. When this YouTuber mentioned this about 2 months in April of this year, 2021, I thought it was stupid. But they said in April that they're going to have, I think the CDC, the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, that organization is making May the Zombie Preparedness Month. Zombie Preparedness Month. So all of a sudden this month, okay, this is month of May, and what do you hear? What's happening in May in New York City? All these weird zombie-like behavior, violent behavior. Did you hear? I mean, what I mentioned earlier in this video, that on 43rd Street in New York City, on the west side, A man attacks another man with no provocation, bit his face, and then bit part of his finger off. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, people? Isn't that crazy? You don't think these people are being maybe told to do these weird behaviors? Why? Well, again, I just discovered yesterday that it's another election coming up in New York City. Did you hear me, people? See how things are? That another, I didn't even know that they were having, what do you call, I think you call it a primary. Yeah, see, I don't even know the terminology, but there is going to be some type of voting thing in June, and then this other thing in November. Well, again, um, an election is coming up. Well, what if you make all these bad things happen to make the current person in government to get out? Like we have a mayor. Mayor, what's his name? Mayor oh brother, that's embarrassing. D something. Oh, I can't remember the name of my mayor. De Blasio. De Blasio. Mayor de Blasio. And then we also have a governor, Governor Cuomo. And they want to get Cuomo out of office. Yeah. He was the dream boy last year during early COVID. And now they want him out, and now they're making an excuse. The excuse is, oh, he sexually harassed these women. Now, I don't play lightly with sexual harassment. I've been sexually harassed at work and in the military, so I'm very sensitive to women's needs. Very sensitive. But it's just ironic, okay? He's been in politics for all these years, and it didn't come up when he reapplied, reapplied just a couple of years ago for governor. Why didn't it come out then? But all of a sudden now, and all of a sudden now, he's a problem. See, it seems like in New York City politics, when people are done with you politically, they want to get rid of you quickly. You did your job, and now it's the next phase of whatever what the next phase is. So now they want to get rid of him. So all of a sudden they dig up these ladies from his past, and all of a sudden now his behavior, now his history is an issue. It wasn't an issue when you call it, when he ran for office almost 4 years ago. It wasn't an issue then. The same people are there, the same ladies are around, but they didn't have a complaint about her. But now all of a sudden it's an issue what he did in the past, because now they want him out of office for whatever reason. And now someone else wants to get in office. And now someone else wants to be a new mayor. Yes. So all of a sudden now they're going to put the zombie effect in New York City, put on the zombie machine, and now it's zombie preparedness month. And again, I just found out that the election is coming, another election. I didn't know about it. See, I don't really follow politics and voting thing, and I'm not going to be voting in this new election that's coming up in June, and another one in, I guess, in November. I'm not going to do it. And my friend is angry at me for saying that. They said, our ancestors sacrificed their lives so we can vote. But they didn't sacrifice our lives to have our votes stolen and things like that. Yesterday's politics does not work the same way today. The things of yesterday, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 80 years ago, 100 years ago, is not what's happening today. It's not the same method. They didn't have to worry about 100 years ago about what gender you want to call yourself. You think that was an issue 100 years ago? Did my ancestors die so that someone could say, oh, I feel like this gender or that gender, or I think I'm a butterfly now? Oh no, I'm a zebra right now. Do you think that was a, you think they would be willing to fight for that? No. And no, I'm not saying that to be insensitive to those people who have identity issues. That's a very important thing, identity. Who are you? Who are we? Who are we? That's a very good question. Who are you? What are you? Well, I'm seeing in this new Truman reality, like as I mentioned in the beginning of this live stream, that I had a discussion with someone that I'm very fond of over we. It was a disagreement over politics, and it kind of saddened me after we got off the phone. I care very much about this person. For me, it's okay to have different opinion. It's okay. It's exciting actually. You know, having this this conversation. I don't really take it seriously. You know, my opinion of the person is no different. It's just we have different opinions, and that's fine. But the politics now, what I mentioned, that when I got off the phone and I felt agitated and a little sad because I don't want a friendship to uh, get challenged over some politician that I've never met or what's happening in the subways to interfere with a friendship. So I felt that, I was just talking to the universe. And many of you may know, or those of you who don't know, I have a camera. Let me show you the camera up there. See that camera to the to the right? It's like a ring. That that is a camera. It's a surveillance camera, and why I have it? Well, about a year and a half ago, I experienced a paranormal experience called an orb. An orb is a little round thing, like an energy ball, and I was watching a movie, and it appeared in front of me. I do discuss this several times in other videos, but yes, I was watching a paranormal movie that um, is about relationships. You know, the movie The Sixth Sense and the movie Passengers. And especially the movie Passenger, every time I see that movie, I cry. And I think it was I watched both movies back to back, and I think it was when I was watching Passengers. It always gets me emotional, and I tear up and everything. Yes, I'm a very emotional person. And all of a sudden, an orb appeared in front of my face. First, I saw a bright light reflecting off my cheek, and the lights were out in my room, and just the monitors on watching the video. And I'm thinking, why is light reflecting off of one cheek and not the other? The only light source here is this monitor my watching the movie. So I just moved my eyes downward to see where the light is coming from. And then all of a sudden I see this little orb. It was about the size of a little marble. It was pure, pure light. You see the light rays coming from the orb. It was beautiful. And it moved along my face, across my face. And then it passed my nose and then it disappeared. And when that happened, people, I said, wow, I was amazed. And I thought about that orb for one whole year. And I said, how could I get to see this orb? Is this real? I mean, I was amazed. Well, in short, fast forward, um, I speculated that, I heard about orbs before, and that you have these infrared uh, devices, infrared cameras that could videotape or take photos of things in the infrared spectrum of light. And so that device, that camera that I just showed you, can do that. And I also have this other device, a bite. Remember, I told you guys I bought this body cam? Because remember, I got groped last year. And you have these Karens that like to lie on black people here in New York City and accuse you of trying to harm them because you're a black person and get the police on you so you get arrested. Remember that event, uh, the Central Park Karen? So I bought a device, a body cam that could record in infrared. And so I used that device. It was actually that one, the body cam that could record at nighttime in darkness. And for the anniversary of when I saw the orb, which was on my birthday, my birth is in December. And so as an experiment, I set up my camera, my body cam on this tripod, and I filmed myself. I was like uh, talking to the universe and just, I fell asleep. And then in the morning when I reviewed it, 2 days later, I reviewed the tape because the tape was on for a long time. And so now I was ready to look at it. And lo and behold, I saw orbs. I was dumbfounded, people. I was dumbfounded. So now I have physical proof that orbs do exist. I even set up a YouTube channel, a new YouTube channel called Orb Whisperer. That's right, Orb Whisperer. And I uploaded little snippets of videos of orbs that were caught on camera using my infrared camera and it interacting with me. Yes, we are not alone, people. That's also what I'm getting at with this reality. Reality is being, this reality uh, bigger than you could imagine. Reality, see, some of you have had dropped off now. It's real. Yeah, I challenge you that to look on the video Orb Whisperer and you'll see the orbs caught on camera and it interacting with me, some of them. And I notice also with the orbs, um, see, we have to be scientists. We have to try to rule out certain things to discover what our true reality is. What's going on? And when I did when because the camera, that camera that you see there, um, I reviewed it, and as I was reviewing it, like I was agitated, because of the conversation I had, because I care about this friend of mine, and an orb appeared. Orbs are a reality. You don't really see them with the naked eye, but once in a while, as I proven a year and a half ago, that they can allow you to see them. And when I saw them, it was just magnificent. And they seem to be influenced by your behavior, by what you do. If you're in an emotional state, they come and visit. They come by. Let's say you have something. Yeah, I didn't load this one up yet, but I loaded up. Yeah, I took a video earlier this month. I was watching a program. Um, this person, how to think, how to train yourself to be a better person. Um, His name is, I think, is Jim Quick, or yeah, Jim Quick, Kwik, Jim Quick, and he studies human behavior, how to motivate people to do things. And I bought his book called Limitless. And yes, he did see the movie Limitless also, and he's, inspired by that movie as well, and entitled his book Limitless to encourage you. Yeah, I bought this early in the month, and while I was when I just learned of him, I was watching the video late at night. I have a camera out there also, and a whole slew of orbs appeared flying about as the video was playing about this thing on how to improve your mind. Well, what if people that what you watch, let's say there's a spirit, like, remember, like, I used to be a Christian. And remember, in the Christian world, some of you who may have also been Christians or are still Christian, they have a thing called this spiritual warfare. Well, what if part of the spiritual warfare involved orbs slash angels? See, again, it's all semantics. It's all semantics. See, this fourth dimension world can manifest in any form, I think, for you to see. They could maybe be formed as an orb or as an angel or who knows what, right? It's just energy. And they could present, like in the Bible. Remember, Jesus appeared in different forms and people didn't recognize him, and then boom, people then recognized him when he left. Why didn't they recognize him before? They can disguise the way they look or your perception of them, right? They could change and alter their perception on how you see them, how you perceive them, how you feel about them when you see them, and you don't think it's the same person or thing. And it could manifest. What if all those orbs that appeared when I was watching the video on about how to think, how to improve your life? You think this is possible spiritual warfare? They don't want you to change the way you think. They don't want you to become limitless. They don't want you empowered. And then they're flying around like all over. That never happened before. I've been filming orbs now since December of last year, December 2020, 2020, December 2020. It's now May 2021, Sunday, May 23rd, 2021. And I've been recording in that room for this time, and it has very little orb activity. Most of the activity happens in this room that you see me recording in, not in the other room. But that time, I was watching the video in that other room in my apartment, and I captured all these orb activities. Looked like they were like war happening. I kid you not, people. I kid you not. Yeah, there is a war going on. Some call it spiritual warfare. That's what the Christians call it. Spiritual warfare in high places. They're all different domains, uh, what they call principalities, powers, rulers. Remember, in unseen places. Well, these technologies now could capture these unseen realms. See, we see with visible light, the white light, but we have another spectrum called the infrared spectrum and X-ray spectrum, and I think there was another. And those spectrums we cannot see with our naked eye. You need a device to see that. And that's why the space program utilizes these equipment that has the technology to see things in these spectrums. They don't want to show you, the general population, your tax money pays for it, but they don't want to share the information from your tax dollars. So are we not, the general population, the slave of the system, a slave of NASA, the space program, that they collect our tax money so they can do whatever what they're doing and no accountability, and then their test results you don't get to have privy to it? What are they hiding? You think I'm the only one that sees that has videos of orbs? You don't think these people in their cameras could see it and better? Hello, people. This is a new type of Truman show. I think Truman show came out, what was that, 10 years ago or more? 13 years ago? Yeah, they didn't have the smartphones when the movie came out. Yeah, any of you who know what year the Truman Show came out, yeah, you just could put it in the chat room. What year that movie Truman Show came out? Yeah, they didn't have the smartphone out yet, but now we have the smartphones. Now we have these infrared. We have all these gadgets now, these technologies that could take pictures of the spectrums that the naked eye cannot see. This is a new reality, people, that you have to consider. You think that what you do, what you talk about, you don't think it's being observed by these orbs? You have people who what they call familiar spirits, people who are in witchcraft, what do you call it? Yeah, familiar spirits, and they get in contact with these so-called familiar spirits, and they have them act as spies, and then these familiar spirits tell them your secrets, what you're doing. Some people call that remote viewing. Remote viewing. Have any of you ever heard of what's called remote viewing? Remote viewing. Or how about astral projection? Astral projection. These are sciences that people do, that the government does, that people could learn on their own. People could learn how to remote view. People could learn how to astral project. And maybe that's part of what I'm seeing. Who knows? I do not know. I do not know where these orbs come from. Some people might think they're maybe your ancestors trying to protect you, right? You have people who believe that ancestors exist, and that transition, and that their spirits could communicate. Isn't that what a medium is all about? That the medium could get in contact with the deceased loved ones and tell you what they're thinking or doing, or warn you. See that? See, we're willing to believe in the medium or the spiritualist, but we don't want to believe for ourselves when they appear. When you study about these orbs, that they seem to react with activity. What type of activity? Emotional distress. You're watching a program, a controversial program, and maybe they don't want you to know about the information. See, there is an information war going on. They don't want you to know what's going on. They want you to be a slave. They want you ignorant. They want you hating your neighbor. They want you hating black people. They want you to hate white people. They want you to hate Asian people. They want you to hate women. They want you to hate the elderly. They want you to hate animals. They want you to hate children. They want you to hate your food. They want you to hate nature because they want to control you and have you do the things that benefit it rather than you. Be a scientist, people. Be a scientist. You don't have to believe me in anything I say. You investigate yourself. You start to analyze yourself. Hey, is your life a Truman show? That when you try to do certain things and then something happens, or you're about to make a big plan and oh, maybe you get fired. You're about to go somewhere, oh, your car breaks down. Oh, you all of a sudden you want to move. You want to get at your own place. And oh, you get sick. So now you can't move. Now you can't travel. Now you may be afraid to travel because now if you faint and you live by yourself in a nice home, how are you going to get to the hospital? So it's using fear again to control your behavior. Start noticing, people, what may be happening in your life. Is your life a Truman Show? Is all of a sudden the politics that you experience, in the past, it didn't make a difference, but now politics and family are being interrupted. Now it's an issue. It was an issue before. Yeah, it's not all in your head. It's not. It's not. You can get a device. You can get a device like this one, that camera. It's only 20 bucks. 20 bucks. And you can set them up in your house. If you live alone, whatever, you can set them up in your house and see whether you get orbs. Do experiments. Hey, put on a controversial show on. Let's say a show that would teach you how to liberate your mind. Or let's say you get in a heated dispute with somebody, and all of a sudden you see them appear. They're orbs. They're not dust. It's not a trick of the camera. These things are beings that exist. Why they exist, I don't know. But they exist, they're real, they come in different shapes, they come in different colors, and different sizes. And they, to me, they act like you ever look at flies, or a swarm of flies or bees, how they go about. That's how these orbs seem to act to me, in my opinion. They have consciousness, definitely, definitely. And the orb that was caught on camera, um, when I tested my, on my birthday a year and a half ago, they respond to your emotions. What if some orbs feed off of certain emotions? Hello, people. Start asking yourself questions about life, about your life. Is your life a Truman Show? Is what happened in the past about politics? It wasn't a thing of interest, but all of a sudden it's causing family disputes, disputes with friends, people who you love. Why this extreme behavior? Could this be again uh, a Truman Show, that your reality is being influenced with the things with things to control you? Start noticing. Start documenting the things that happen to you, and start to see if there is a pattern. There may be no pattern. It might be just uh, by chance. But again, maybe some things are not by chance, and you start to see a pattern of behavior occurring, that's what you want to know. That's what you want to determine. Yeah. So, yes, we go through things, we want to try and expand, and then sometimes people, this thought just came to my mind. What if some people believe in reincarnation? Reincarnation, some people believe in that. And what if, some people say you made the determination before you came to this human form that you wanted to experience certain things. And so with that agreement, they're going to make sure that it keeps its end of the bargain. What if this is all what it is? That I made this happen, that I made a predetermination of coming into this life form, that I wanted to experience certain things. What if that were the case? And that we all are part of a Truman Show because we asked for this. We asked to experience certain types of friendships or relationships, and it's all part of the process. Who knows? This is really just food for thought, people. I don't know all the answers. I don't know. I really hope you enjoyed this content. Yeah, I present this content. Yeah, I'm not doing as much content uh, this past month because I'm really, my neck. I do have, as I said, a neck problem. Um, I have poor posture and a lot of pressure is on my neck. And it could be making me get the vertigo, the dizziness. And so I'm just trying to alleviate the pain I might get. So I'm not doing as many videos. And I was just getting a little fed up about certain things. I needed a breather. Yes, sometimes you need a breather, you know. Um, the live stream is a little easier for me to do. Um, I could just sit and relax and just talk into the device. Um, yeah. So I invite you guys to watch my other channel, Orb Whisperer. And I think I did upload one of those videos on this channel that you're watching right now. Uh, you just, on this channel, if you want to stay on this channel, you can just type in the word orbs, probably a few will pop up, and you'll see some of the one or two videos that I have on this channel. The remainder is on the other channel, Orb Whisperer, and it's just videos, and some captions I've done of orbs. Yeah, orbs are real. They are a consciousness of some form. They can think, and they're part of our world. So, yeah, um, I thank you again for listening. I hope you enjoyed this content. And yeah, something, we have to encourage ourselves, and encourage others, and keep on keeping on. Try to document things and know that you're not alone. You're not alone. Love the person in the mirror. Love yourself no matter what you look like, no matter what your race, your color, your religion, your nationality, what type of accent you're on, whether you're a boy or girl. It doesn't matter. You are loved, and to learn to love yourself, to accept yourself. Yes, guys and gals, peace and love to you all. Make sure you drink your water. You live in one of those hot climates like I do. Make sure you drink your water. Take it easy. I want to try to take it easy too. Yeah, it's warm. It's warm in this room right now. It's probably like 80 degrees in here. Yeah, I have my uh, fan on, my air filter on. Yeah, my little doggies, right here. They're warm. They're warm. I got the water out. Yes, I have to get ready to get myself up, feed my dogs, take a shower, and all that. Yeah, I enjoyed doing this video. I really do enjoy doing these live streams. Um, yeah, we have to communicate to each other. I guess, this is the forum, how it's done now. I do enjoy talking one on one with people, in person, but it's not always feasible. But we can still reach out with what we do have, and we have live stream, and you could be part of the show, and you could you know, write in the chat room, and each one teach one, each one encourage one another. That we can do while we're in this matrix, while we're experiencing the Truman Show reality. Whatever what it is, um, you're you. The real you is the you that's inside. It's not the flesh. The flesh is just a vehicle. It's like a car. The car doesn't drive itself. The person inside the car drives it. That is the real essence of what's happening with that car. The essence is the passenger. You are the passenger, and your body is just the car, the vehicle, the means of interacting in this physical 3D world. And I'm believing more and more that there is that our true self is somewhere else, and we somehow got captured in this matrix game, and we just learning how to navigate. It got hijacked. I think the Bible is really about introducing to people that the system got hijacked 6,000 years ago, and is controlling us through taxes and was that taxes and reincarnation death. Yep. But the true you is eternal and does not die. Yeah. So with that last note, I thank you again. Peace, love, and joy to you all. Drink your water, eat healthy foods, love your body, love nature. Go out in nature if you can, and take care, okay? I thank you again. Bye bye, guys. See you. Until next time, okay? When that would be. Bye bye.